Yeah, we were able to see there's several openings around the Sphinx. There's not just one. We know that Mr. Beast just became even more famous because he was on there with Zahi Hawass, and he was showing an opening that he jumped into in the back of the Sphinx, and it was like, oh, look, it's just a dead end. No, there's a lot of stuff underneath the Sphinx, not just that one area. According to the Emerald Tablets, it's supposedly some type of advanced ship. And Thoth in the Emerald Tablet says, far in the future, something will come out of the dark, and whoever has the capability to raise my ship from under the Sphinx's paw can defeat them with ease. When you start analyzing some of the ancient texts, you begin to realize, I began to realize something. I connected the dots. These beings were talking about obtaining a level of immortality through these Halls of Amenti, through preserving a body and then rejuvenating the body and bringing it back to life. One of the things that really amazes me about Egypt is being able to see all those stargates, like you hear about them, there's movies about it, but standing in the spot where you see the representations of these stargates and where the indigenous people would say that these quote unquote gods would go there and they would literally just vanish. And I find that story all over the world. They have, even if you go to Mexico, to Tula, Mexico, and go to the pyramid of Kukulkan, who's actually Tahuti, aka Thoth from Egypt. He's got a wall with the same stargate in the back of his pyramid. The pyramid is actually doubles as a house and a stargate. So he would live inside the pyramid for a short period of time. And then he would go out the back, and then the local people said he would stand in that area, which I took a picture standing there like this a few years ago. And he would literally just be gone, and he'd be gone for years. Then he'd reappear in that same spot again, and he'd go back into his house and deal with the people and everything. But these stories of these netters, or these Natiru, aka Anuna, Anunnaki, they got various different names. They seem to operate with some mode of travel utilizing these gates, according to the ancients, not according to us. But I'm glad you really had such a great time, touring there. Did anything else stand out for you?
Yeah, going back to your conversation about portals, Abu Simbel, there was a on one of the pillars, it looked like one of the Egyptians was phasing in and out. It looked like there was like a double of him on one of the pillars. I think you had mentioned it, that they would hold this object in their hand that would look like an ankh. And you would hold it, and then they would phase in and out of, of the certain dimension that they're in. Well, we saw that depiction on one of the pillars in Abu Simbel, actually. Muhammad Ibrahim's hometown, I believe that's where he said he was born. But yeah, I wanted to mention that. Also, God, man, there's so many places that we visited, Billy. It's the Luxor Temple. God, man, we were there for a long time. I can't forget about the Sphinx. I mean, of course, the Sphinx, everybody knows about the Sphinx. The Sphinx, we actually had a private tour as well. We were able to see the sunrise when we got there. Right. It was amazing just to be there in person. I mean, I've seen the Sphinx on television, the History Channel, and just to be there, man, and just experience for yourself. I mean, it was amazing. You can actually see, you did go over some of the watermarks around the Sphinx of when the water level was receding, just to see that as well. A lot of people don't know that the Sphinx was underwater for some time. So just to actually see that for yourself and be there and to know all this information, they don't tell you everything on the History Channel until you're actually there, and it's God, Billy, I'm so blessed, man, to actually go on that tour with you, and I don't regret it one bit. And
thank you, man.
I actually want to go on another one. I would love to go on another one, man.
We'd love to have you back, man. We'd love to have you back. Yeah, you're right. We went into the Sphinx enclosure, which regular tourists, they'll never go inside the Sphinx enclosure. We were able to touch the Sphinx, walk around the Sphinx, look at the openings that lead underneath the Sphinx, which is why I pinned that comment from Renee Mig or Renee MIG. Yeah, we were able to see there's several openings around the Sphinx. There's not just one. We know that Mr. Beast just became even more famous because he was on there with Zahi Hawass, and he was showing an opening that he jumped into in the back of the Sphinx, and it was like, oh, look, it's just a dead end. No, there's a lot of stuff underneath the Sphinx, not just that one area, but there are other areas underneath the Sphinx that open up and lead into tunnels that go on for miles. And we know that ground penetrating radar proved that there's something under the Sphinx's paw as well. So yeah, there's a lot more going on with the Sphinx, and they want you to really know. I think it's pretty incredible.
Hopefully one day we'll get access to that, Billy. It'd probably be something. I mean, there's got to be something, a huge room under there to hold something big, very big.
Yeah, they detected something almost a mile deep, a huge opening, almost a mile deep beneath the sand. So we're talking about something huge. You're right, huge. And whatever it is, according to the Emerald Tablets, it's supposedly some type of advanced ship. And Thoth in the Emerald Tablet says, far in the future, something will come out of the dark, and whoever has the capability to raise my ship from under the Sphinx's paw can defeat them with ease. I said something will come from the deep, not dark, from the deep. That's what he says. Something will come from the deep, and whoever can raise my sky ship from underneath the Sphinx's paw will defeat them with ease. That's what the Emerald Tablets say. But something's down there, which is just crazy that something actually is down there, but they won't let us get access to it. But we know that something is down there from the science data that came back. And to be able to walk around that Sphinx enclosure, and like you said, to see the erosion in the Sphinx enclosure walls, and to be able to grade it, by years. So we've had real geologists, professors, PhD professors, even Robert Schoch, for example, has analyzed the strata there and the erosion, and his estimates take it to 13,000 years at least. He believes it's the flood came during the Younger Dryas, which was an impact incident right above Syria, which melted the ice sheet and flooded out the entire region. And yes, the Sphinx was underwater for quite some time. And we saw the actual eyewitness. We have eyewitness testimony of the evidence that the Sphinx was underwater. And then we got a chance to watch the sunrise coming out of the east. So it was,
it was so beautiful. Oh, one more thing I wanted to tell you about that was also mesmerizing was the Serapeum of Saqqara.
Yes.
Oh, really? Wow. I can't. I was just. I mean, when I walked in there, I felt like I was in. Like kings are like gods. Well, people that masqueraded as gods.
Yeah.
Actually walk through there.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk in these long halls, with these huge sarcophagi that are carved to perfection.
Yeah.
I mean, precise. I mean, and they're huge. Yeah. I mean, they can hold at least like 20 bodies in them, I think. I mean,
easy, maybe more. Things are massive. 1,000 tons.
Yes, huge. And just to be walking around in there, I can't. I'm just. It was mesmerizing. It's just unforgettable. Just like seeing the Sphinx or being in the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is huge. Just even trying to walk up to the King's Chamber. Oh man. Or even the subchamber. We got access to the subchamber as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
a lot of people can't get access to the subterranean chamber. It's always got a steel door that's closed. But when we take our forbidden family to the pyramid, we get the key and we unlock the subterranean shaft, which goes beneath the bedrock 65 meters. You went all the way down?
I did. And it's not fun going down. And Billy, I don't even know how you did it. I mean, God, you're a big guy, man. And I know. I still had to crawl on my knees and get down there. Some of the ladies that were a lot older, they were like, you know what? I got here in Egypt. I'm going down there. Some of the ladies actually went down there too well. They did. They actually went. Yeah, they went down there and they didn't regret it at all. It was amazing. You go down there and it's just super quiet. You can't hear nothing.
No.
And I think for a minute, some of us meditated down there. It wasn't fun going back up, but when you get down there, it's I mean, you can't even see the bottom. You kind of see like a dark, but like, because when you go down, you have to go under this tunnel, and then you can see the light at the other end. But you can't really, from the top looking down. It's just, I mean, if you're claustrophobic, I mean, I don't think it would bother you anyway. But I mean, it's just wow. And like I said, the Serapeum was amazing. I think there was 9 or 8 coffins that were in there, or sarcophagi that were in there. And I stood on one of them, and I was just right next to one. And one of the guides took a picture for me, and I showed some of my friends, and they were just blown away. And then I was like, well, how do you think they got these massive, huge coffins inside these little areas? I mean, it's just impossible, to drag 100 people dragging it. I mean,
it would never happen.
It must have been teleported or something, but who knows? All I know is that I experienced it for myself, Billy, and you have to experience it for yourself. It's unforgettable. You won't regret this trip. You're well taken care of by saboteurs. Billy, I mean, the food is amazing. The yacht, I can't even, you already know. I mean, the yacht was amazing. And the people on the boat were amazing as well. They took really good care of us. And it was great, Billy. I definitely want to go back again, my brother. Thank you so much for the tour.
Yeah. Hey, beautiful, man. I'm glad you had a great time and spent some time with us. And we'd love to have you back. Maybe you can come back for the 2027 eclipse tour, where we're going to do a meditation underneath the only place that you can see the full eclipse at Luxor.
That would be amazing, Billy. Yeah. I would love to, my brother.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Hey, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Good seeing you again. And I'll see you again very soon.
Thank you, Billy.
All right, cool. All right, everyone, that was Josh. He came on the Forbidden Tour of Egypt, another 5-star review, somebody who had a really, really good time. The last thing he was talking about there, that Serapeum, that's what I call the Halls of Amenti. So Thoth talks about this in the Emerald Tablets. It's written about in other texts. It has various different names. But when you understand what it is, they talk about the fact that these Netiru, or these netters, they had the capability of transferring their consciousness into new bodies. And they would put these bodies inside of these secure megalithic sarcophagus boxes. Now, they're not sarcophagus for dead bodies, because no bodies have ever been found in any of them. Not even animal bones, which is what they try to lie and tell you about. One of them might have had some bull bones inside. No, there were never any bull bones inside. And we actually confirmed that through the homegrown archaeologist here, Muhammad Ibrahim. These boxes are mint on the inside, perfect 90-degree angles, extremely smooth, but they're made of diorite, crystal diorite, and crystal granite. Very high on the Mohs scale of hardness. And whatever tool they use to create these boxes, we don't have that same exact tool today. These are one-piece, 1,000-ton boxes that have megalithic lids that no one has ever been able to open if it was sealed. No one has ever been able to open if it was sealed. The only way that we got a few of them open was by blowing them up with explosives. We had no other way of getting the lids off of these things. Another thing is, when we went down there with Josh, we took them to a room that has a big steel door and a huge bolt. We have the key, so we unlock that door. Nobody's allowed to go in there. Tourists are not allowed in there. We opened that door and took the Forbidden family inside to look at a 1,500-ton megalithic rejuvenation chamber. And on the actual rejuvenation chamber lid is a radioactive symbol, the symbol for radioactivity, on a giant crystal diorite box. If you can imagine a 1,500-ton stone box inside of a tiny crevice corner where it can barely fit, then your brain can finally begin to understand the accomplishment of getting it there. First of all, we're beneath the desert. We're underground, number one, okay? Number two, there's no opening and no way big enough to maneuver that into that room. And all the other halls, there's hallways that go down, and then there's alcoves along the path. And in each one of these alcoves is another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. All of them megalithic. All of them one piece, which means they have a tool that we don't have today, number one. Number two, if we could find an engineer to create one identical to what's in there, they'd have to charge you hundreds of millions of dollars to do it. And number three, it won't be perfect. It will not be as perfect as these ancient boxes. When you analyze how they're lined up in these halls and the way that they're still giving off radioactive energy, you begin to realize that you're standing inside of a giant machine underground. And that these halls of Amenti, these rejuvenation chambers, in some way might be accurate. In some way, they claim to have, they meaning these netters, these Anunnaki people, to have been able to put bodies inside of them and leave them there over time while they walk amongst men unlike a man, as they say. And then they would come back in 100 years, jump out of that body, jump into a new body, and continue on. It's wild. I know it sounds crazy, but guess what? I talked about this in my book. If you look at the DARPA, the United States military, they coordinate with a company, an organization called DARPA. They run black budget projects with no congressional oversight. And every now and then they release their budget, and every now and then they release some of the things they've done with the budget. One of the most recent things that they released about maybe 7 years ago was the Avatar Project. And what is the Avatar Project, you might add? It's a project run by DARPA, funded by the United States military, which is really funded by the taxpayers, that allows a soldier to be in an underground bunker and to have a field robot. It could be halfway around the world, or it could be just a few feet away. They create a conscious link between the soldier and the robot, a symbiotic conscious link, and the soldier controls the robot through consciousness, just like the movie Avatar. Now, look at the other project in Russia by Ray Kurzweil called the 2045 Project, 2045.com. I talk about this in my book as well. What's he talking about? Well, they talked about the fact that they were able to transfer a monkey's consciousness into a computer. The body's dead. The mind is still alive inside of a digital system. That was in, I think, 2008 or something like that. By 2015, the goal was to be able to transfer consciousness into a robot. And then by 2045, to be able to transfer your mind into another body. Are they making any progress? Well, check this out. There was a project, a laboratory project that was done, or a laboratory research that was done, where they took two men. One man was in a room with no blindfold on. He can see. But he had his hands tied, okay, behind his back. The other man is in another room. He's blindfolded, but he's got a remote control in his hand for a video game. Now, the man that is that can see the game on the screen, that can see the video game on the screen, but can't use his hands. Scientists were able to connect a conscious link from his mind to the mind of the other man who had the controller but couldn't see the screen. And he was able to remote control that man's hand through his mind, a mind link, to play the video game successfully. Think about that for a minute, okay? That's incredible. So are we making progress in that field, in that area? Absolutely. And scientists are talking about being able to store human consciousness into a molecular hard drive now. What is a molecular hard drive? Well, a molecular hard drive is a hard drive that works on molecular and both physical components. Microsoft is the very first to actually produce a working model of this. It's called a DNA hard drive. So they discovered through an experiment in a laboratory, George Church was the scientist. He wrote an ebook, and the ebook had digital medium in it. It had graphics and it had, everything, multimedia. He was able to convert his ebook into zeros and ones, from zeros and ones to A's, C's, and G's, and then put it down on a gram, 1 drop of DNA. Yes, he was able to take his ebook from zeros and ones, convert it into A's, C's, T's, and G's, rewrite code, which is what DNA reads, read, write, and store his book in volume on 1 drop. Not only his book, he was able to replicate the book 80 billion times in 1 drop of DNA, proving that DNA is a storage medium and stores information. He then reversed the process, converting the A's, C's, T's, and G's back into zeros and ones and putting it back up on the server, proving that DNA is read-write. It's upload-download. And it stores a vast amount of information. As a matter of fact, 1 human body can store about 13.5 billion years of data. And guess what? That's how old they say the universe is. So the entire secrets of everything that's happened in the known universe is being stored right now in your body. It goes even deeper than that. Scientists took 1 atom, a holmium atom, Holmium, I believe how you spell it, and holmium atom, and they were able to write and store data directly onto an atom. So now we can write data and store data on an atom, 1 atom, which is extremely a small subatomic particle. The nucleus of an atom is, forget about it. We can store data on an atom. So yes, we are making advances in this area. We are rediscovering what the ancients already knew. And what did they know? They knew that the human body is a gigantic hard drive that stores information. Every aspect of ourselves stores data, not just the mind, not just the gut, not just the heart, but every single individual atom and every strand of DNA in your body is a storage medium for information. And we're sending and receiving information wirelessly every single day. And yes, by the way, they were able to transfer information wirelessly onto DNA, data directly onto DNA. So what's going on? We're rediscovering what the ancients already knew. As a matter of fact, when you look at these giant boxes, you realize that they're not sarcophagus. A sarcophagus, which we can see clearly when we go to the Valley of the Kings, is hidden and buried deep in these tombs. Now, the kings did not need to bury themselves in pyramids. They didn't need to bury themselves in the Serapeum, because they had this place called the Valley of the Kings, where they would actually have their funeral plot, right? And they would find a location there and they would say, okay, create this underground tomb for me. And then their workers would work and create these beautiful, elaborate underground tombs. We take people there to visit those as well. We went with Josh. That's where the sarcophagus are located. And you can see that they're large, but they're not like what we saw at the Halls of Amenti. All right. That's where they're at. Now, why are they mummified? Why did they put the mummified remains in the sarcophagus? Well, when you start analyzing some of the ancient texts, I began to realize something. I connected the dots. These beings were talking about obtaining a level of immortality through these halls of Amenti, through preserving a body and then rejuvenating the body and bringing it back to life through consciousness. I believe that these pharaohs had witnessed the netters, aka the Anuna or the Anunnaki, they have many names, do this. And they may have even been told that this was going to be their blessing, that they would get this gift of life at some time in the future after they passed away. And why do I think this? Well, there's some text that alludes to the fact that they would be brought back, not in a different place, that they were going to be brought back right here on this planet. And when I go to the Valley of the Kings and you realize, wow, they would bury not only themselves, of course, when they died, but their wives, their riches, their cats, and their maids. Now, if I'm dying and I'm going to this afterlife on a solar boat and I'm going to be transferred to another dimension, why would I bring my riches with me and my cats with me? Now, I know good and well that the cats and the gold coins ain't going. These are smart people. I believe that they thought that they were going to come back to life here in this lifetime on this planet. They were going to live and come back here at some point in the future, and they were going to be able to access, of course, their wealth and their riches and their wives and their cats and everything else that they had taken down there with them. Their servants, which were, if they weren't ready to die, they were sure enough killed. And the same technique was utilized on them. I believe that mummification was all about preserving DNA so that a person can be cloned and brought back to life in the future. After the knowledge of doing that had gotten lost, it became a ritual to just mummify a body and preserve it that way underground. That's just my personal opinion. You might agree, you might not agree. Guess what? That's okay. But that's my personal opinion after being there so many times and trying to connect these dots. It makes a lot more sense to me that they witnessed something totally different than what we think mummification is really all about. Okay? So, yes, wow. I'm so glad Josh got a chance to come on and talk tonight. I've been dropping the link in the live chat. I will drop it again. If you want to come with us on the Forbidden Tour of Egypt, you got to book ASAP. I believe there's only 10 spots left for the upcoming tour in October. So if you want to come hang out with me and my wife in October and have a great time going to see all these ancient sites, we literally pack so many sites into this tour, it would take an average person a lifetime of trips to complete all of these destinations. We cover your airfare in Egypt. We cover your cruise. We cover transportation. And we feed you like you wouldn't believe. You're going to eat the most food you ever ate in your life, okay? But you're going to need the food because we're going to burn a lot of calories because we're going to be walking a lot of miles. I think we walked 150 miles total for the whole 2.5 weeks, okay? Again, it's a mind-blowing tour, something that you just can't get from going there. We give you VIP treatment. We take you to private visits of these ancient sites. And that means when we show up, the tourists, they got to get out of there. They can't hang out. They got to go. We don't know where you're going, but you got to get the heck out of here, okay? Because it's forbidden family time. And then we do a lot of cool stuff as well, like the private party that we had at Karnak Temple, which was like a first. It was mind-blowing to see the decoration, the dancers, the band, the show, the 10-star level, seating in the 10-star level treatment that we got from the wait service and everything else. It was just mind-blowing. And of course, the food was over the top crazy. Okay, just another example of the best part about us is the forbidden tour. It's really forbidden. It's really an exclusive tour. You're not just going to show up there and get a mainstream tour guide that's just going to walk around regurgitating mainstream information. We give you the forbidden knowledge, and then when we get back on the cruise, we go ahead and give you a full-blown lecture and teach you with a PowerPoint presentation more stuff, more knowledge. And on this tour will be the first time that we're actually going to print out actual certificates of completion, because we're going to take you through a class. So there'll be a class every single day on the cruise. And of course, you'll be learning on site. And you can see how much information Josh retained. He remembered a lot about this tour. At the end, you'll get a certificate that you can put into a very nice frame and hang up on your wall. Okay. So we appreciate you guys. And I mean, the link is in the caption of this video. If you'd like to come to the Forbidden Tour of Egypt and be a part of something amazing, I'm looking forward to going back this year because there are some new developments and some new discoveries that I haven't even seen yet. So I'm looking forward to getting there, checking that stuff out. Last year when we went, I had a chance to ride out to the Valley of the Whales. And in the Valley of the Whales, in the middle of the Sahara Desert, in the middle of nowhere, it took us about 4.5 hours to get there, riding inside of this desert Jeep, literally, with no roads, no stoplights, no nothing. Our guide was driving through the Jeep like a banshee, and I'm like, how the hell do you know where we're going? There's no landmarks. There's no, there's no. I was, for a little while, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, man, I don't know. We getting abducted, but now I realized, the guy was really, he knew what he was doing. He took us straight to the Valley of the Whales. And when I tell you, there were megalithic whale bones laid out all over the desert. I took a huge, great video right next to one of the biggest basilosauruses out there in the middle of the desert. There's, as you're walking across seashells to go out and see these whale bones in the middle of nowhere, which tells us, yes, there was a global flood. And yes, the Sahara Desert was under a significant amount of water at one time. And that was my first time going to see the Valley of the Whales. So there's just always so much to see. I mean, there's so many things to see there. Even I haven't seen it all, and I've been there a lot. I've been going since 2014, and I still haven't seen everything. So much to see. That's why people say, what's your favorite place to go? I always say Egypt, and they say, why? I said, well, I love the other places, but I know that every time I go back to Egypt, I'm going to see something that I've never seen before, because there's a discovery coming out every week. And so I'm looking forward to going. So if you want to come hang out with us and check out some of these amazing sites, click that link and register ASAP for the Forbidden Tour of Egypt. And we'll see you there. We'll break bread, hang out, network, work out together on the top deck of the cruise. We'll have a forbidden party where we play forbidden music and dance and just go see some of the most amazing sites in the world. And then we all learn together. And then we build a community. So everyone and every cruise that we've done, we put them in their separate individual communities so that they can continue to talk and network with each other and communicate. And we've made and helped build some of the most incredible relationships and friendships that are long lasting, that will never end. Because why? You're talking to people that are on the same frequency as you, people with the same mindset, ideas and concepts and interests. So you're around people that you can talk about anything with, and they won't think you're crazy. And so that in itself creates a long lasting friendship. And it gives you people that, that become very close to you. And people have gone on trips to meet each other and hang out and so forth. They've had reunions and things like that from the tour, which is pretty cool to see, just building community like that and seeing people meet with others that they feel like they can, really sit down and have a good conversation with and not be judged, whether it's, pseudoscience, or whether they think somebody's going to tell them, you're crazy, or that never happened, or there's no such thing as aliens and all this other kind of stuff. No, you can talk about whatever you want, spiritually, consciously, hypotheses, ideas, concepts. People share research material. I mean, we've had some of the world's top engineers on some of our tours. The last tour we had, one of the world's top engineers, singular, one man, he had done things with cranes that nobody in the United States, in the world had ever done. He's considered the best. When they have something that they're trying to figure out, they contact this guy. And he was just blown away by what he saw just with the unfinished obelisk in the Aswan quarry. He talked about it for 3 days straight. He was scratching his head trying to figure out how it could be done and how it could have been done and what he wouldn't be able to use today because it would break. And so just to hear him say stuff like that, it just blew me away, because this guy's like the top in the world. So when you see these things, I'm telling you guys, it's a life-changing perspective. And there's nothing like standing next to these sites in person. Google doesn't do it any justice. History Channel don't do it any justice. Pictures on people's cell phone don't do it any justice. It doesn't do any justice until you're standing there and you're in complete awe at what you're standing in front of it, and you can put your hand on it. And you know that kings and queens and royalty and some of the most famous people in history had been there, walked on those same footsteps you're taking, touched these things that you're touching, been in these places that you're now standing in, and been sailed down this same Nile and seen these views from the Nile and everything else. It's very nostalgic, and it makes you feel like you just took a time machine to the past. It really does. So it's pretty cool. Just go to the Better Business Bureau. Go to our website, forbiddenknowledge.com, and click on the Better Business Bureau link at the bottom of the page and read those reviews. Click on the Trustpilot link at the bottom of the page and read those reviews from people who have gone on tours with us all over the world. Some people have gone to every single tour we've had. They go wherever we go. Cambodia, Turkey, of course, Egypt, wherever we're going, they're there. They're coming to Peru now. So it's, there's a reason why they're doing that, because they're having a great time. They're learning, and they're getting a 5-star experience. Okay. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight.